Hello and welcome to Wednesday's edition of Cracking the Cryptic, where I still have a bit of a frog in my throat, for which I hope you can forgive me. I'm going to be tackling a puzzle that looks mighty daunting as well. It's called Call My Bluff, and it's by Tallcat. And I haven't done a Tallcat puzzle on the channel for a while, which is completely remiss of me. Tallcat is a brilliant setter. In fact, Tallcat has got some puzzles in our Line Sudoku app, if I'm not misremembering. Yeah, this has been recommended to us a number of times. I think it's a version of a rule set we have seen before. So the basic conceit here is that all these clues are normal in the grid, except two of them, you can see if you count, there's sort of 3 of each type of clue, and only 2 of them are allowed to be correct. So these REM bands, these purple ones are probably REM bands. We'll check the rules in a minute. But only 2 of those are actually REM bands. One of them is a liar. So we're going to have to do a bit of detection throughout today's puzzle if we're going to solve this. This has a whopping rating on Logic Masters Germany, and as I say, the recommendations we've had to try this have been replete in their praise, let's put it like that. So I'll read you the rules in a moment or two's time. Big news though, big news overnight from the World Sudoku Championship, where we need to say a huge congratulations to Tantan Dai, who becomes the 2023 World Sudoku Champion. Now Tantan is a friend of the channel, and Mark and I, there's still a video on the channel actually where Mark and I interview Tantan, and we get to see Tantan Dai solving, and she is a total and utter phenomenon. I mean, we actually you can see I've got the results on the screen here. I hope you can see them. It won't go bigger, but I went down to Mark came 40th, which is a brilliant performance, and you can see that O there means that that's the over 50s category. So Mark has retained his title of the best over 50 solver in the world, which is fantastic, obviously, a fantastic performance. But it is a little bit sobering when you compare the total score. I'm not sure if you can read this on the screen, so I'm going to have to talk you through it. But basically, Tantan's score 5,770. And Mark scored 2,735. So Tantan is solving more than twice as many puzzles as Mark in the same amount of time. And if any of you've watched Mark's gas videos on the channel, you know how quickly Mark can solve. I mean, he is rapid. He is rapid. And Tantan is over twice as fast as Mark. It is just absurd. Teet Vunk as well, and Kota Morinishi. I mean, Kota's been the world Sudoku champion many times. Teet has as well. To beat those guys out is just phenomenal. So really fantastic for Tantan. And many congratulations. A brilliant performance. And if you scan down, you'll see some names here that are very familiar to us on the channel. Jason Zufranieri there, a good friend of mine from the US. Hideaki Joe is always there or thereabouts. And I want to just give a shout out to Can Ertuğran from Turkey. Now you may know Chan better as Kane Puzzles, because he appears on the channel when he sets Sudoku under that pseudonym. Chan is 14 years old and he's coming 28th in the World Sudoku Championship. Absolutely phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. So well done to Chan as well. Cheel Beanhacker's there as well. Back Pow, you may know Cheel as, over on the Discord server. So anyway, lovely to see so many names I recognise, and well done to all those who took part. And I think Mark told me that there is a trip to, they're going on a day trip today to Niagara. So I've told Mark that he needs to look out. If he's going to play around on the railings, he needs to make sure there's someone around wearing these glasses. Then he'll be fine. Now, what else do I need to tell you about? So, Trick or Treat, our Sudoku hunt over on Patreon. It is the closing date's in 2 days' time. Still enough time. If you haven't even started the puzzles yet, you will get through them in time, but you need to start devoting some time very soon. So if you're a patron over on Patreon, do check that hunt out. It is wonderful. And I've got some birthdays to do today. Let me get my list. So I'm going to start off by saying a very happy birthday to Becky, who's turned 32 today, and I know this because your best friend Alice wrote to us. Alice is in Japan, I think, on holiday, so she can't celebrate with you, but apparently she's going to make sure you have chocolate cake together upon her return. And I was amused to hear that the two of you compete over solving cryptic crosswords on WhatsApp. Well, that sounds entirely appropriate. So, Becky, happy birthday. Harriet, you've turned 46 today, the secret +1. And Harriet watches every day. Thank you, Harriet. And has even started doing the crosswords as well. I love the fact that people are starting to experiment with different types of puzzles than those that they may be used to, as a result of seeing how much fun they can be on Cracking the Cryptic. Derek, you've turned 28 today over there in Connecticut. And I know this because your friend Zoe wrote to us and thought you might appreciate a shout out, and you found the channel because she recommended Dorlier's Rising Circles puzzle to you. Well, that is a wonderful puzzle, and if you haven't seen that, do check it out. It's quick, you can do it quickly, it's a coffee time puzzle, but at the end of it you'll just have your mind blown. It's brilliant. Derek's having pizza and chocolate cake today. Happy days, that is a super combo. And then Ryan, it's your birthday today, and I know this because your brother Brandon wrote to her. Brother Brandon, that does sound like you're a brother in a monastery or something, Brother Brandon. But Ryan, it's your birthday today, and apparently it's also your parents' 20th wedding anniversary today. So congratulations on your wedding anniversary to Rachel and Edward. And Ryan, Rachel and Edward, I hope you have a fantastic day. Now, let's turn our attention to the real business, which is, can we solve Call My Bluff by Tallcat? Call My Bluff used to be, wasn't that a radio show? Was that the precursor to Would I Lie to You, the TV show now? I'm sure Call My Bluff was a radio show. I might be wrong. Anyway, these are the rules. So normal Sudoku rules apply. So we have to put the digits 1 to 9 once each into every row, into every column, and to every 3x3 box. Then it says all clue types are standard. However, exactly one instance of every clue type is lying to you. Constraints that do not lie work as follows. Between lines. Cells along lines between two blue circles. Right, so we've got loads of blue circles. Must have values between those in the circles. So this is standard between line logic. So if this was a 2 and this was an, how long is this line? Can I make 8 work here? I'm not sure. 3, 4, 5. Yes, I can. So if this was 2 and this was 8, then this line would have to contain 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7 to make sure that the values on the line were between those two that we put in the circles. So obviously the least stress you can put on a between line is to put 1 and 9 in the circles, and that's between lines. So we then move on to black Kropki dots, of which of course there are 3. Cells separated by a black dot contain digits with a ratio of 1 to 2, which means basically one digit has to be double the other. But of course, obviously one of these black dots is telling fibs. We have to work out which one. Even a cell with a grey square, okay, that's these cells, isn't it, must contain an even digit. So one of these digits contains an odd digit, is basically what we're being told. German whispers. Adjacent digits along a green line have a difference of at least 5. Again, 3 of each, one of which is lying. So what does it mean? Imagine this was a true 1 and this was a 1. This square here would have to be at least 6 because it must be at least 5 different from 1. Odd. A cell with a grey circle must contain an odd digit. Yeah, again, there are 3. So one of those contains an even digit. Renban. Cells along a purple line must contain a set of consecutive digits. So if this square here was a 1, and if this was a true Renban, then these would be the digits 1, 2, and 3 to ensure that they're consecutive and they can appear in any order. Sandwich. Oh, sandwich. These clues outside the grid are sandwich. That harks back to the birth of the channel almost. So clues outside the grid give the sum of the digits sandwiched between the 1 and 9 in that row or column. So imagine this 10 clue was correct. Then somewhere in this column we have to put 1 and 9. And then these two squares would have to sum up to 10, so that the digits between the 1 and the 9, which can obviously be in either order, these two digits then have to sum to 10, assuming this clue is correct, which we don't know. It might be, it might not be. V. Yes, okay, there are 3 V's in the puzzle. Cells separated by a V must contain digits summing to 5. That's obviously because V is the Roman numeral for the number 5. White Kropki. Cells separated by a white dot must contain consecutive digits. 1 there, 1 there, 1 there. So one of those doesn't contain consecutive digits. And X, is this the last one? X is the last one. Cells separated by an X must contain digits summing to 10. Yeah, and again we've got 3. It's very clever actually how many of these... Actually, it's extremely clever how many of these clues are symmetrically disposed. So you can see that the Wren bands, you know, as in if we were to fold the grid in half around the middle of column 5, I can see several of these clues actually are exactly positioned symmetrically, aren't they? The between lines aren't quite symmetrical, but a lot of, and yeah, maybe these clues aren't symmetrical, but a lot of it is. So very, very nice. Obviously Tallcat has gone for that, which must be a very significant extra constraint when setting this sort of puzzle. Anyway, do have a go. The way to play is to click the link under the video as usual, but now I get to play. Let's get cracking. I haven't got a clue how to do this. I can't remember. I know I did solve the original one of these, which I think was zetamath, but that was so long ago. I can't remember what the strategy was, if indeed there was a strategy. I think that... Yeah, this is a bit different from a WROGN puzzle. In a WROGN puzzle where every clue is lying, then the sort of usefulness of clues inverts by reference to what you think. But here, it doesn't work like that at all, because 2 of the clues are truthful. Sorry, and it might take me a few minutes here to spot anything at all. I mean, I think we can dispense. We can dispense with these as being useful. They cannot be useful at this point. Knowing one of these, you know, one of those is even, I mean, that's just useless. So let's forget those. Now, I feel like the between lines might be useful, because that's constraining a lot of cells, isn't it? And there is a secret about between lines, by the way, which is that between the line itself, if this line is true, the line itself can't have 1 or 9 on it, because then you can't make these values frame the 1 and the 9. You'd have to introduce 0s and 10s into the puzzle, which not even Tallcat has deigned to do today. The other thing that is catching my attention actually is the V's clues. Because I might be wrong about this, but don't those 2 cells... I might be wrong about this, but I feel like these 2 cells here have to see the digits 1, 2, 3 and 4 by hook or by crook. I might be wrong about that. Let me just... what I'm thinking is 2 of these V's are correct. Now, it's possible these V's are correct. If these V's are correct, they must be a 1-4 pair and a 2-3 pair in some order. That would see those 2 squares. But if one of these V's is wrong and one of them is correct, then this V will be correct. But this V can't be the same as the V in its own row. So imagine this was a 2-3 pair. Neither of these could be a 2-3 pair. So the correct one of the winged V's would then be a 1-4 pair, which would see these squares. So I think these squares have to be at least... I'm going to pencil mark that because it might be important. Yeah, I mean, Well, no, we don't know whether this is telling the truth or not. So I was going to say that's going to be interesting for this between line. I mean, let's think about that. So if this between line was telling the truth, one, two, three, four, five. We've got 5 cells of between lineliness. So how could that be a 5 or a 6, in fact? If that was a 5 or a 6, how could you fill the line? If it's a 6, say, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, that would have to be a 0. Oh, what's that saying? Bit defender's trying to do something. Dismiss. Bit defender, you are dismissed. Yeah, so if this is telling the truth, that might be able to be a 7 if that was a 1. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. So this would have to be a low. Oh, it's still detecting extra devices. Oh, goodness only knows what it's found there. Oh, that's me. I'm wondering what device has been detected. I didn't do anything. Right, so if this is true, this is a high digit, so this is a low digit. But if this is false, this is just telling us now, this is very awkward, isn't it? Because if this is false, I don't know anything. I can't extrapolate anything from this between line. If that's true, it's a 6 or an 8. Is that affecting the black dots somehow? This looks like a bird, this arrangement. It's like got 2 eyes and a beak. It's probably not relevant to solving the puzzle. This looks a bit like another bird. There's a bird there, which looks like Captain Beaky's owl. Captain Beaky's owl. Yeah. So, what is the line from there? Owl's idea, the clever fella. Oh, come on. Followed by Toad. I can't carry on. I can't carry on until I've remembered this line. It will just bug me for the rest of the video. So what was it? Let's see, hissing Sid again. And as they marched off down the road, they sang in praise of timid Toad. Above them flew old Batty Bat, with his wings stretched out quite flat. Owl's idea, the clever fella, to have a flying umbrella. So this is Batty Bat. So Batty Bat is flying on top. Well, this could be Owly Owl, or whatever his name is. Batty Bat. I can't. Isn't it weird the way my brain works? No, don't answer that. Right. Okay, come on. Right, there are owls and bats in the puzzle. Owl, bat. Whispers. Maybe the bottom row. Is it possible for both of those whispers to be correct? If both of those whispers are correct, well, what do we know about the secrets of whispers? We know that you can't put 5 on a genuine whispers line, because if you do, imagine this was genuine and we put 5 on it, then this square would have no possible fill, because it needs to be 5 different from 5 at least. So we go to 10 if we go upwards, 0 if we go downwards, or negative numbers, or higher teenage numbers, and none of those things are useful. So 5 would be in here, which would possibly affect the between line very marginally. I mean, again, even if these are both correct, I don't see that there's much pressure here. Let's try the top row, the same sort of strategy then. If both Wren bands in the top row are correct, that could be 1, 2, 3. That could be 7, 8, 9. This would be 4, 5, 6. which would maybe force. No, that's the thing. Is this is such nonsense. This could be 2, 3, 4. This could be 6, 7, 8. We could fit whatever we want. It's not Renbanic. I don't think the break in here is Renbanic. So let's try those between lines. If those between lines are both correct, 1 and 9 would have to be in those cells. Oh, that would break the sandwich clue. Hang on, that's the first thing that's actually interacted in a way that looks interesting. So what I'm saying there is if that between line is correct and that between line is correct, then because you can't put 1 or 9 on a between line, in row 2, the 1 and the 9 would be in these squares, and this clue cannot work because you can't fit cells summing to 19 between the 1 and the 9 in row 2. So that would mean that both vertical sandwich clues were correct. So what? I mean, actually none of these sandwich clues are terribly... I mean, there's all sorts of horrible stuff going on as a result of that. Because if this is correct, 1 and 9 in this box are in those squares. I think it might put pressure on whether the Renban can really be... Well, this is maddening. If the Renban is true, it obviously can't contain 1 and 9. They are not going to be consecutive within 3 digits. But if the Renban is false, you can absolutely put the 1 and 9 up there. And you can even put the 1 and 9 in such a place that they don't even affect the 10 sandwich clue. And this is just... These are both the geometry of box 1 and 3 are basically the same, aren't they? We have a 3-cell Renban on top of an X, interfering with a between line. Ah. Hang on. So if these are both correct, then right, so if these are both correct, I can't put... I can put... No, I can't, actually. Hang on. Yeah, I get a 1-9 pair there on 2x... Ah, that's it. Right. Aha! We are away, and we are on Tallcat's trail. Because it's not to do with this row, actually, I don't think. So let's take that out. It's to do with these 2 boxes and where 1s and 9s are forced. So let's imagine this is correct and this is correct. We need to have a colour for correct. We'll have the colour, which is the most... Which colour indicates the most veracity? Should we have blue? Red will be our colour for telling lies, I think. Or maybe I have to do orange because that's the most colourblind friendly option. Anyway, let's have blue for veracity. Now, the question we need to ask now is, so if this between line is correct, where do we put 1 and 9 in this box? Bearing in mind that 1 and 9 in this box are also not allowed to be in blue if both of these are correct. Well, the answer is we can't put 1 and 9 at the top here because then this square would become a Schrödinger cell. It would simultaneously have to be 1 and 9. And in this puzzle, that isn't possible. So this would have to be a 1 or a 9. But the same logic applies here. So this would be a 1-9 pair. And at the moment, we say, well, what's wrong with that? Well, the problem is it's not possible for both of these x's to both be wrong. And that means that one of them at least is correct. And what do you put on an x if it's correct? Whichever one of these is correct has a 1 or a 9 on a correct between line, which is a paradox too far. You can't do that. So that tells us that blue, well, it tells us this between line is correct. It tells us that one of these between lines is correct, but not both. Okay, so let's think about that a bit more then. So whichever one of these is correct now, let's say it's this one. Yeah, and then all the tension floods out of it. That's weird, isn't it? Well, it's not necessarily weird, but it's really strange, because the moment both of these aren't correct, you have no problems anymore. Absolutely. This could be a 1 or a 9. You could put 2 1s and 9s up here and just make this a faulty Renban. You could have a 1 or a 9 here and just make this X faulty, and that's fine. So so we don't know which of these is correct. So all we actually know is that this is correct. So this, yes, so this is the point we made earlier, isn't it? This is correct, so this can't be 5 or 6, because then we couldn't fill. So this is a high digit, and this is a low digit. That is sufficiently low we can fit 5 digits below whatever this happens to be. So if this is 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. So this is 1, 2 or 3. So this is doing something to the V's, is it? Yeah, oh, that's gorgeous. That is absolutely gorgeous. Right, so now in row 6, it's not any longer possible for both of those V's to be correct, because they would be a 1, 2, 3, 4 quadruple, and this cell would have no value. So this is correct, and this is 1, 2, 3 and 4 therefore. What does that mean? Are there digits that we have to have on this between line? Like, no, actually, sorry, I was suddenly thinking, could I view this a bit like a Renban, but I can't, can I? If this is 9 and this is 1, then I can put any in-between digits on this. So it's not like this always has to have a 5 on it or something, it just doesn't. So what am I learning here? I know this is either 1, 4 or 2, 3. Ah, so it's the black dots, is it? Because both 1, 4 and 2, 3 are removing black dot options. So if both of these black dots were real, that is impossible, I want to say. I might be wrong though. Let me just think about that. I don't think that's possible. I think that it's weird the way this combination works. Imagine this was 1, 4 for a moment. What do we then fill the black dots with? Well, we can't use the 1, 2 pair, which is one option. We can't use the 2, 4 pair. We can't use the 4, 8 pair. So we only have 3 and 6 available. But if this is 2, 3, then we can't use 1, 2, 2, 4, or 3, 6. We only have 4, 8 available. Right, so one of these black dots only is correct, which means this black dot is correct, so that gets blued. One of these is correct, and when we did that just now, we worked out it was either a 3, 6 or a 4, 8 that lives up here. And that means do we know the order of that somehow? Either 3, 6 or 4, 8 is on one of these black dots. But the 3 and the 4 there are in different combinations for the V. I can't see any way as well that we're going to know which black dot is correct of these two. If this is 1, 4, then this Renban, if it's real, it's the constant question. If it's real, it would have to have a 7 on it, because it would be from the digits 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we know this black dot is real, don't we? So if this was 1, 4, this would be 3, 6. And if this is 2, 3... Hang on, let's actually put the options in there. So if this was, what was this, 1, 4, we said this was 3, 6, didn't we? And if this was 2, 3, then this is 4, 8. And this between line is true. So if that was 8, that would be 9. That would be 4. This would be 2, 3. Okay, but in this box now... Oh, do we know that? Well, the thing I've noticed about this box is because this between line is correct, 1 and 9 have to be down here. Now, if that was a 1 or a 9, this X would be wrong, because this can't make a domino that adds up to 10. So both of these would be correct. That's Maverick flying past. Naughty Maverick. That was quite weird though, actually. Maverick flew past then and I almost missed it because I'm thinking so hard about this puzzle. So now, well, the other thought I'm having now... this is straightforward actually, but it's also absolutely beautiful. It's not possible now for these to both be correct. Because if these are both correct, how on earth do we fill row 9 at all? And the answer is you can't. Because if both of these greens are correct, not only do we know 5 has to live in the middle sector of the grid, but there are 2 monogamous digits that have problems on German whispers, 4s and 6s. And 4 is monogamous in the sense that if you put a 4 on a whispers line, a correct whispers line, it can only partner up with 9. It's the only digit that's 5 away. A 6 can only partner up with 1. It's the only digit that's 5 away. So where do you put 4 and 6 in this row? Well, you can't put them on the lines anymore because 1 and 9 are not available. So you've got to put them in the middle. So this would be a 1, 9, 4, 5, 6 quintuple in 3 cells, and that doesn't exist in the world. So that means that these are not both blue, which means that this is blue. This is just gorgeous. It's an absolutely gorgeous puzzle, this. Now, this is a real whisper. So 5 can go. Well, if it was on one of those, it would break its black dot. Oh, but one of these is a broken black dot because this is a real black dot. 5, okay, 5 in the row then. No. Well, I mean, it could break these. It could, whichever one of these is an incorrect between line could have a 5 in its circle. So 5, right, so it's not 5 here, it's something else. Right, what is it? I don't know, is the short answer. I might have to think more carefully about... If this is... Right, let's think about this. If this is 1, 4, it then depends what the oscillation is along the whisper. This is 1, 4. We know this is 1, 4. This is 3, 6, we said, didn't we? So the only low digit that this could be would be a 2. And, I mean, what's the problem with that? These would then be high digits. and they couldn't be 6, so they would be from 7, 8, and 9. And the one that's... Well, actually, that's a problem. They both be broken. Oh, this is weird. Right. Okay, and this is I think the most complicated thing that we've found so far, but bear with me about this. So what I'm saying is, if this is 1, 4, I think this has to be 3, 6. Oh, but this is a sequence of if statements, isn't it? Well, if this is 1, 4, this is 3, 6. This square could not be high. Could not be low is what I'm saying. Because if that's a 2, these squares here have to be 5 different from 2, so they have to be at least 7. But the question then, remember this is a 1, 4 pair. The problem here is that both of these black dots are broken, because you can't put 7 or 9 on a black dot, a real black dot, because it's in a 50% ratio. You'd have a 3.5 or a 4.5. They're not Sudoku digits. The 8 you could put on the black dot, but it would need a 4 with it, and the 4 we've said is here. So both of these black dots are broken, whereas only one of them is meant to be broken. So actually what we're learning is that if this is 1, 4, this is a high digit, and it can't be 6 because it's a real whisper line. So that would 6 is monogamous. So this would be 7, 8, or 9. But we know down here. This is 1, 4. This is 1, 4. This is 3, 6. It doesn't do anything. So these would be low digits. And they couldn't be 4, so they'd be 1, 2, and 3. Or from 1, 2, and 3, but 1 is used down here, so this would be a 2, 3 pair. And one of these black dots has to be correct. So the 2 couldn't be correct, could it? Because there are no more low digits available. 2 has to, on a black dot, has to partner 1 or 4. So the 3 would be correct and would have a 6 beneath it. I think I'm going down. I think I'm approaching this incorrectly, though. I feel like this is getting so complicated. And the other thing is, this seems to work, which is a worry. So that's probably correct. I wonder actually if it's this I'm meant to focus on. Let me just think about that. So if this is 1, 4. This is 3, 6. 1, 4, 3, 6. If this was correct, it would have to be 7, 8, 9. That's the only sequence of 3 left, isn't it, I think? If that feels right. This would be 7, 8, 9. So this couldn't... so that again proves... but that breaks. Hang on. So all we're proving here is, if this is 1, 4, this is a lying thing. So these would both be correct things. But if this is 2, 3, and this is 4, 8, it's different then. That could be 5, 6, 7, I think. Oh, goodness me. I don't know. I'm struggling now. Maybe I've got to think about whether this could be 2, 3. If this is 2, 3, this is 4, 8. But in the box, what does that mean for this whisper? If this is 2, 3, this is 2, 3. Can I make this 1, 4? No, I can't put 1. Oh, can I? Oh, God, no, this is really complicated. Because I keep forgetting that in each case, one of these could be correct. I have to think about this. does it matter that one of these whispers down here has to be correct? Is that the point? Or is it something else? Are there digits that... If that's 7, this would have to be 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, wouldn't it? And this would have to be 1. And then there would be a 2, 3 pair along here. This would have to be... Oh, is there a relationship between those two digits? Is that what I'm supposed to appreciate? There's a correct V in row 6 that's either a 1, 4 or a 2, 3. If it's a 2, 3, this becomes a 1. This is a 1, 4 pair, so that's a 1 and that's a 4. If it's a 1, 4 pair, this is a 2 or a 3. This is a 2. Yeah, these two digits are the same, which means that can't be a 4 and that can't be a 1, therefore. These are the same, so somewhere over here there's a 1, 2 or a 3. I don't think that's... Again, I think I'm not understanding the puzzle yet. Is it something to do with the fact I know these 5 digits are whisperable? Not whisperable, I mean between lineable. None of these are 1 or 9, but that's what this pencil mark represents. Or maybe is there a reason this X can't be true? Maybe that's it. If I can force both those X's to be true, maybe that's it. Right. So if this X is correct, this is either 7, 4, 6 or 2. 7, 4, 6. Ah, that's horrible. Or is it the case that, well, one of these... You see, I think the fact one of these is correct and the other one isn't just frees up this row completely. Yes, it's true to say I can't put 4 and 6 or 5 here. But there's no... I mean, I could put them all there, for example. What's wrong with that? I mean, there might be something wrong with that, but it's not immediately obvious what's wrong with that. I don't know. I don't think it's the green lines. I could be wrong. I could obviously be wrong. All right. So what else could it be? I have a feeling. I don't actually have. I really don't know. I really don't know. It might be. I think perhaps I think I've got to think about this arrangement a bit more carefully and go back to that. Maybe I missed something when I was thinking about that before. So if this is 1 and this is 4, we know this is 3, 6, don't we? 1, 4, 3 and 6 go in there. So if this was correct, it would be 7, 8, 9. And this would be low. But I think we worked out it couldn't be low. 1, 4, 3, it would be 2. These would be from 7, 8, 9, and these would both be broken. So what are we exactly saying here? We're saying that if this is 1, 4, this is a lying Renban. So can we do... But yeah, no, we did go through this line of thought. But if this is 2, 3, this is 4, 8. And this might be able to be true if it's 5, 6, 7. I'm just going to pencil that in so I can think about it for a second. So we've got 4, 8 here, 2, 3 here. 5, 6, 7. So if this is a high digit now, it's 9. Flanked by 2 low digits, which would have to be 1 and 4. But that doesn't... Does it work? Actually, that might work. The 1 couldn't be a true black dot, but the 4 could be with an 8 beneath it. On one side or the other. So I think that might, so it might be possible for this to be true in the so that again, this just feels, it's just eluding me how I'm meant to think about this. What about then, if this is 2, 3, maybe this line, what sort of pressure is it under? Maybe no pressure. This is 2, 3. That, if this is low, it has to be 1, which is very boring. Because these can be anything then. They have to be 6, 7s, 8s, and 9s. This is 2, 3. One of these black dots has to be correct, so there is going to be a real low digit, which is going to be a 1 or a 4, which would have to be a 4 because we're saying this is 2, 3. So there's a real low digit down here, which is 4, which means there's a real high digit up here, which is 8. And I'm just pausing there to see whether I can see what the problem is. I can't, I don't think. Wow. I don't know what to do. Is it... Okay, let's try... I don't know. I'm really confused about this. Am I supposed to be intuiting something about how many low digits are used in this box because of this green line? Either the green line contains 2 low digits into these squares, or it contains 1 low digit and these are 2 high digits, but because 1 black dot is correct, there would then be a low digit in one of these on the correct black dot. So does that matter? I think all that's telling us is almost what we knew at the start, which is that these squares have to include high numbers. Or maybe... Oh, I don't know. I just don't know. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Tallcat, because I think I'm making a mess of your puzzle now. I don't understand how I'm meant to do it. If I know... The only thing I've worked out is that this was a genuine whisper. That felt incredibly natural. That felt incredibly natural. So there is some implication, I think, of this being a real whisper, which I have very much not understood. Because that is the new information that Tallcat has allowed us to have. So what is it that I'm meant to intuit from that? I don't know. I don't know. Again, it does feel like it's to do with Batty Bat, doesn't it? That's what it feels like to me anyway. But even if I knew that these were genuine Ren bands, does that do something? It is fascinating to think about how these puzzles are put together. Because the opening here was really... It felt very natural, didn't it? An artful owl here. Artful owl. What are you doing, artful owl? So if one of these is 2, 3, this is a 4, this is a 1. That's a 1. 1 would go up there, but it could easily go in a true between line, couldn't it? If one of these is 1, 4, this becomes a 2 or a 3. So you couldn't put 2 on the between line, so 2 would come down here. I don't know. Maybe I have got to think harder about whichever one of these whispers is correct. Is there some sort of restriction that's going to arise on the true whisper down here? I don't think there is, to be honest, but I'm going to think about it for a moment or two because I've got nothing better to do. I can't understand it. This whisper line, we know it cannot contain 4 or 6 because the 1 or the 9 are here, so it can't have 4, 5 or 6 on it. So we then have to decide, what are those 2 digits? Are we going to have them as high or low? If they're high, they're 7, 8, aren't they? Because they can't be 6, they can't be 9. So this would be a 7, 8 pair, and the middle digit would have to be it would actually have to be a 2. That's weird. That's really weird. That's right, isn't it? It can't be a 3, because 3 and 7 are only 4 apart. So actually, if this is... Right, so let's do, we'll do one this way and one this way. So if this is true, if this is the true whisper, and we put the high digits on the edge of the whisper, it has to be that configuration. Right, let's have a look this way. So if, on the other hand, we decide these are the low digits, they can't be 1 and they can't be 4, so they're 2. Okay, this is interesting. They have to be 2, 3, and that digit is now... can't be 9, so it has to be 8. Can't be 7 because 3 and 7 are 2. Oh, this is weird. Oh, this is huge. This is huge. Oh, it's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. Right, because what are the common digits? Whether this is true or this is true, 2 and 8 are always on the whispers, the correct whisper in row 9. 2 and 8 are always on it. So I can delete all that because I can see what this does. Well, actually, no, I overplayed my hand there slightly. I can see one thing it does. It's definitely plonking a 2 into one of those squares, isn't it? This is still huge. This is still absolutely huge. I don't know about 8. 8 might also have to be on the between line, but 8 could be there, look, if it's jolly naughty. But I don't mind, because 2 being on it means that we need to frame the 2 that must be on the between line. So that's got to be 1, and now that's got to be 1 by our logic. That's got to be 4. There is a 2, 3 pair somewhere in row 6. We don't know where. I don't really want to pencil mark it like that because it's across boxes. But now, wasn't there a version up here where I was going to end up with a 4 in one of those? That's not going to work anymore. I can't remember what that was. Ah, hang on. This is better. Right, look. Take 4, 8 out of this. So now 8, right, this is huge, because now 8 is on the blue line here, which means that has to be 9 to frame it. That's not 9. So we get a 1, 9 pair. I'm going to make those 2 squares blue. They deserve to be blue just as much as the rest of this line does. Now, well, so if this is true, this would have to be a 7. Look at that. It could be a 7 because we didn't use 7 when we did the corrections along the 2 options for the green lines and the bottom row. I think that's lovely. I just didn't occur to me at all that there was a meaningful restriction on those green lines. But yeah, once you look at it, you realise there is, and it's really had a profound effect. Oh, 1 is now over there. I'm not sure where I want it to be. I probably want it to be there. That would suggest this was a true between line. Okay, but what do we now know then about this line? Or can we go back to this line? I don't know. It's certainly true to say now that if this is a true Renban, it has to be 7, 8, 9. Isn't this what we disproved before? Because if that's 7, 8, 9, and this is 6, this is low. And it has to be a 2. It has to be a 2. It can't be a 3. So this would be 2. 2 would be framed by 7, 8 pair because it can't include 9. Yeah, and now neither of these black dots can be correct because you can't put 4 into them. Yet one of them must be correct, and you obviously can't have a true black dot which has a 7 on it. Right, this is huge. This is absolutely huge because now it's simply impossible for this to be correct. So this is a lie. which will make orange. So that's a lying Renban, which means these are two true Renbans. Now, the problem is I don't know what that does. It means these 3 digits are a multiple of 3 if you add them up, because any 3-cell Renban must sum to something that's divisible by 3. And if we use the secret, which is something I tell only my favourite people, if you're still with me on this video, you definitely deserve to know the secret, and you probably already know it. The secret is any complete row of a Sudoku, because it contains the digits 1 to 9, sums to 45. So 45 is divisible by 3. A 3-cell Renban is divisible by 3, because imagine the middle digit on the Renban is x, then it's got x minus 1 and x plus 1. If you add all those 3 up, you get 3x. 3x is obviously divisible by 3. So this and this are divisible by 3, so that must be divisible by 3. Yeah, that's... I don't think that's it, is it? That's not what we need to know. So this is a naughty Renban, which we can ignore. Now, that was when we put 7, 8, 9 and made this low. So can we simply say this can't be low? Is that also a valid conclusion? Yeah, because if this is low, it's 2. This was a 7, 8 pair, and neither of these can be correct. Yeah, okay, so this is high, and it can't be 6 therefore, so it's 7 or 8, because it can't be 9. So these 2 squares are a 2, 3 pair, and that's all true. And one of these has to be on a correct black dot, and the 2 cannot be, because 1 and 4 are unavailable to it. So one of these 2 squares is a 6, but underneath a 3, so this square is not a 6. And it's because 7 can't go here either, can it? 7 is too close to 3. So that digit is 8. This digit is not 8. And this digit is right, and this digit is in a square. So that's broken. That's a naughty digit. It can't be true. So these 2 are both... Oh, this is not a 1. Oh, this might fix this. So these are now even. Both of them are true. So they're 2, 4, 6 or 8. Now that one can't be 4, and that one can't be... Oh, that one can't be 2 or 8, actually. 2 or 8. So this one's quite low. Actually, this one can't be 2, remember, because there's a 2, 3 pair on the V's here. So this is coming right down. One of these is a 2, 3 pair. What have we got going on in the middle box? We've got these 2 squares. I see, they're 5, 6 and 7. One of them does include a 6. This is incorrect, so we can't look at that. Stop looking at it. It's not going to help you. Wow. I mean, what do we do now? We could... One of... We might have to think about actually these boxes now, because one of these is a true thingy. I realise thingy is the technical term, but it is true to say that one of them is a true thingy. It's a true between line, so it can't have 1 or 9 on it. Right. So whichever one of these is... No, hang on, let's get this the right way around. Whichever one of these is true... Two things are going to follow from that. Let's imagine this one was true for a moment. Now let's examine this box. We know that 1 and 9 couldn't go on the between line, and we've got a correct Renban at the top. So we can't put 1 and 9 on a correct rem band because 1 and 9 cannot be made consecutive within 3 digits. So there would be 1 or 9 on the correct rem band, and this square would be a 1 or 9. And that's going to mean the black dot, or sorry, the X, oh, it's so totally confusing, the X in this box cannot be true, because if that's a 1 or a 9, that would be a 1 or a 9, and that cannot be true on a correct rem band. So this is a correct. Yeah, so we now have diagnosed that either this box or this box contains an incorrect X at the same time as containing a correct between line. So that means that the other X's in the puzzle are correct, which means this one is correct. Now this can't be a 4, so this is a 7, this is a 3, this is a 6, and this is now 1-9 pair. Now that has an implication, doesn't it, for one of the, I can't remember which one of these. Yeah, so now we can't have an 8-7 pair framing a 2. We must have a 2-3 pair framing an 8. So either this line or this line is a 2-3 pair with an 8 in the middle. So there is an 8 in one of those squares. I don't know how on earth we're meant to tell this. And one of them is a 2-3 pair. I don't know. Sorry, I'm baffled. What is it that's possibly going to decide which of these between lines is correct? I realise it's more likely to be this one. Oh, maybe it has to be that one because... Oh, that's brilliant. It's quite brilliant again. I'm so dense. I'm so unutterably dense sometimes. I'm so sorry. Right. The point is that if we try and make this one correct, its low boundary cannot be 1, 2 or 3. So it's at least 4, and that's not possible, is it? 4 and 9 would be the most far apart we could put them. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 doesn't work. It just doesn't work. So it's not possible for this one to be low. So it has to be, because the 2 and the 3 have gone, and we know the 1 is here, this is a correct between line. Golly gosh, Tallcat, you have excelled yourself with this. All of the deductions are utterly beautiful, but finding them in any sort of linear way is proving absolutely beyond me. Right, so now the high digit here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, is at least a 7. So these squares are from 1, 7 and 9 because they can't include 8. And don't we now know this is broken? Isn't that what we concluded? This, yeah, because we can't put 1 and 9 on here. This is either a 1, 2, 3 triple or a 7, 8, 9 triple, depending on what this digit is, which is now 1 or a 9. We know that this can't be true because it would put a 1 or a 9. So this is incorrect, which is orange, isn't it? So this is now correct over here. This is incorrect. Well, hang on. How does this 10 sandwich clue work now? Because the 10 sandwich clue, if it's correct, it's going to have to use this square as one of its... that square is a 1 or a 9. So if this was correct, this couldn't be a 1 or a 9, could it? Because we can't fit cells summing to 10 into one cell. So if this is correct, this square couldn't be a 1 or a 9, it would be a 7. And then this square would have to be a 3, and this square would have to be a 1 or a 9, which it cannot be. Ah, this is so beautiful. So now this 10 clue cannot work as a sandwich clue, which means the 19 clue and the 16 clue, which, I mean, I don't think this is going to do very much for us, but they are correct. Oh, now I wondered whether whoever put this in the software was going to allow me to click on this and turn it orange, but I can't do that. So this is a correct 119 clue. So somewhere, now let's think about that just for a moment. 19 is a sandwich. Because you can't use 9 in the sum, you could put 874, couldn't you? So you have to have 3 cells of sandwichness. You've got to have 3 cells of sandwichness. So I don't think that's useful. Well, it does mean this can't be a 1 or a 9, and it means this can't be a 1 or a 9. Because if this was 1 or 9, that you can't create a 3-cell sandwich in this row, because we know none of these squares is a valid 1 or 9, because they are on a true between line. So there is a 1 or a 9 in that domino, and there's a 1 or a 9 in this domino. So if we knew... this is really good. Okay, so I think this is right, but we know the 16th sandwich is correct. So if you do put a 1 or a 9 here, because this X is correct, but that would be a 1-9 pair, and that would imply that sandwich clue, which is correct, should be a 0, which it's not. So actually, I want to say this square has to be a 1 or a 9 in this row to make this 19. Then the next 1 or 9 is going to be at least, it's one of these 2 squares. What are those digits? They are 2, 5 and 9 by Sudoku, so that could be a 9. That would work, I think. This is wrong, isn't it? So I don't have to look at this. This is incorrect. This is correct. This is 1 or 9. Some number of cells here, sum up to... can we use the secret, actually? Let's just check that out. If it's a 3-cell sum, and this... So if this is 9 and this is 1... I've got all sorts of ideas going around in my head now. Hang on a minute. This is true, isn't it? I'm just going to change tack slightly. I just want to think about 1 in this box for a moment. Because we worked out 1, well, we didn't work out 1 can't be there, but it can't because of this 1. So 1's not in those squares. I did work out 1 can't be on the X, because that would cause this sandwich clue to be broken. So 1 is in one of those 4 squares. Now, this is a correct Renban. So if 1 was up here, this would be 1, 2, 3. This would be 7, 8, 9. Oh, good grief. Right. That doesn't work. This doesn't work for an amazing reason, I think. Right. This is not a 1, 2, 3 Renban. This is so sick. This is not a 1, 2, 3 Renban, because this would be a 7, 8, 9 Renban, and this would be a 4, 5, 6 triple. What's that middle digit going to be? It's going to be 5, and that's going to put a 4, 6 pair into the eyes of Batty Bat. And the eyes of Batty Bat, if they were 4 and 6, would both be wrong. And his eyes would both be wrong, which they can't both be wrong. They can't both be even when one of them at least must be odd. So the 1 can't go up here. here, which means the 1 is now in one of these 2 squares. Now, this is And that means... So if this was a 1, that would be a 1. Maverick flying past again. If that's a 1, that's a 9. If that's a 9... Oh, I don't know. I'm not sure. How do we do this then? So does that work the other way round? I think it does, doesn't it? I can't put 9 up here either. Because if I put 9 up here, this becomes 9, 8, 7, that becomes 1, 2, 3, and that's still 4, 5, 6. So 9 in this box, but the problem is, okay, so 9 is in one of 4 places. Can't go on the X because we can't have a 9 pair here without breaking the 16. But didn't we work out this couldn't be a 9 because of this clue? We did. Okay. So 9 and 1 are really constrained. So if that's 9, that's 1, that's 9. Oh, I'm not sure. I think we're close to understanding something, but I haven't really got it, have I? What is it going to be then? What clues have we not used? Well, hang on. Do we know... Can we revisit the fact that didn't we know what one of these was? Well, there was an 8 in one of those squares, wasn't there? Is that somehow now resolved? Don't think so. I know this is all lying. I should label it up as such so I don't keep looking at it and trying to pass what it means. This is total lying, so I can't use it. Stop trying to think about it. Naughty Simon. Yeah, it's going to be a long video, this one. It's going to be a long, old video. Now, okay, what on earth do we look at next? I'll tell you something easy. There's a 9 here, so that's a 9, and that's a 1. So there's a 1 in one of those. Didn't we work out it couldn't be here because the 19 clue would break? I think we did. Well, isn't that important? Hang on, that's huge. Yes. Okay, so I'm going to come back to my 19 clue now. Because here it is. It's just in a nutshell. It's about this cell. This cell can't be 1 or 9 by Sudoku. Now, if that's true, but we worked out one of these two squares had to be a 1 or a 9 to give us the room for the 19, so it's this one. So that's 9, that's 1. Somehow that hasn't. Well, these 3 squares now add up to 19. These 2 squares are not. They don't involve 9. The secret tells us that we've got 29 here and 16 here. Okay. And by Sudoku, because one of these is a 9, there's a 9 up here now, so this is a 1. So this is a 1, and that's correct. That's a correct circle. It's the first time we found something that's correct. This can't be 1, 2, 3, so this is 7, 8, 9 now. So these squares are now 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And we know this X is telling fibs. We know this is wrong. Oh, this is confusing me now. Hang on. We know they added up to 16, didn't we? But that probably can't be a massive number. Couldn't be an 8 or something. That's true. So 8. If this is 8, the minimum these could be would be 2, 3, 4. And that would add up to 17. 17. which is more than the 16. So 8 is in this sum. Again, I'm going to be pencil marking across boxes here. So I need 8 plus 11 more. So it's either 847 or 856. Can we do that somehow? Don't know. I don't know. There's probably a way. I can't see it immediately. Actually, this is a real Renban now, selected from the digits 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. There is definitely a 4 on here. And this is a correct. Gosh, this is a correct thingy. So this is either now 2, 8 or 3, 7. And it can't, right, this square can't be 2 or 3. Because if this was 2 or 3, we can't make the 19 work. Because we're going to need a 9 in one of these two squares to make the sandwich work. So this is now right down to 2 or 3. This is 7 or 8. We do know there's an 8 in this sum. And we know that's real, so we know what. We know that that's real. Oh, I still can't do it, can I? This is a 1. Because we know we had to put a 1 in one of those. So maybe it's something down here that's going to make everything easier for us. There is a 1 now in one of these two squares. If that was an 8, then that would be the true whisper in the bottom row. It's so difficult to approach these puzzles, or it's so difficult for me to approach these puzzles in some sort of structured way. There's so many little rinky-dinks that you could look at. Okay, let's have a think actually just about the basics of this 16 clue. Maybe that's a point now. Because 16 has got to be a 3-cell sandwich, hasn't it? Because we can't do 9 and 7, which would be the classic way of doing a 2-cell sandwich, because 9, 7 inside a sandwich of 1 and 9 would repeat the 9. So this is a 3-cell sandwich, at least in this column, and none of those squares can be 1 or 9. So we could... Well, this square can't be 1 or 9, so these two squares are 1 and 9. There we go. There we go. These squares are a sandwich. That's a 9. Bingo. 9, 1. 1. Okay, there's something. We've got something. This is 7. So this isn't 7. So either this being 8 or this being 8 is going to determine which is our correct whisper at the bottom. What about this row then? We need 4, 5 and 6 into these squares. There's definitely a 5 in one of those. And hang on, this is correct. That's a correct odd digit. So this was a correct odd digit. So this is an even digit. Well, yes, it's... Oh, hang on. No, hang on, I've gone mad. I've made this orange because it's odd. That's not how my colour scheme was working. These two squares are both true. So that needs to be... It's weird. It needs to be orange, but that means it's not odd. It's got to be even. Now, what does that mean it is? It's not 4 and it's not 8, so it's 2 or 6. It's not 2, there's a 2. Oh, that's a 6. Okay, that's going to put more pressure on this then. Yeah, we're shrinking the boundaries of what has to be on this. So now this does have... Oh, this is it. This is it. Now it's got 3 and 4 on it, because the only digits we can select from are 2, 3, 4 and 5. And if it's got 3 and 4 on it, that gives us 2 here, which gives us 8 here. Now I think that's going to force this one to be the one that had to have 8 in the middle of a 2-3 pair. That's true. This is a nonsense now. This is a 2-5 pair. So 2 and 5 come out of those squares. What about... Oh, so now, oh, I see. So it's sort of back. It's self-referential now. So now this becomes 3, 4, 5 because it can't involve a 2 anymore. So in this box, we've not put in 6, 7, and 9. I'm just going to label it all up and then correct it. So 9 is in one of these. This is 6 or 7. Ah, but didn't we know... Yeah, hang on. Now I'm coming back to the 19 clue here, where we knew that we needed 11 more. So this is 5 or 4. It's not 5. Oh, I see. Okay, so it is just 4. That's 7. This is a 6-9 pair in row 3. Let me just double check that. Yeah, 4, 7, 8 does add up to 19. So now 4 comes out of these squares. 2, 3, 5, and 6. So this is a naked single. 2, 5, 6. That's a naked 3. So this is a 2, 5, 6 triple. That takes 6 out of these squares, giving us a 3, 4 pair. And those squares are a 7, 8 pair. Wow. This is very exciting now because I sort of feel like we've broken into this a little bit more. Now, we've got 16 in purple here, plus 10 is 26, plus another 10 is 36. By the secret, therefore, these two digits have to add up to 9. So this is either 4, 5, or 6. 4, 5, or 6, depending. Oh, bother. So annoying. Look at the bottom row. We could have worked out another way that this was a 4, 5, 6 triple just by looking at it. How annoying. Oh, no, we can do this though. Hang on. Where's 5 in this column then? And the answer is I don't know, but I do know it's not in any of the purple cells, is it? These can't be 5, and that can't be 5 because there's a 4, 5, 6 triple. So 5 in the column must be in a wing where it must accompany a 4 in order to add up to 9. So there's a 4, 5 pair in this column, and these squares are now, I want to say 3, 6, and 7. And that's not 6. And that's not 6. So this is... Oh, this is gorgeous. Right, so now I know where the 2, 3 is. Oh, and I get that digit for free. So that's an 8. This has got to be the 2, 3 correct pair in row 6. This is a liar and is a 7 by Sudoku. It's a 5 or a 7 by Sudoku, but there's a 5 in one of those. So that's a 7. This is a 5. Let's get rid of the corner pencil mark here. That's a 3. That's a 7. There's a 7 over... Oh, 7 in one of 2 places in box 7. This is a 9 by Sudoku up here. This is an 8 in the corner. No song for that. There's a 7 here. These 2 squares are now don't involve 6, so they're a 4, 5 pair. Which means that that's become a 6. That's not 6 anymore. These squares are now known. They're 4, 5, and 9. I'm just scanning to see whether I could do that. I don't think I can. Oh, we don't. Oh, this is a liar. Stop looking at it. There's a lying sandwich and a lying X in this column. Alright, what are those digits? 2 and 8, I want to say. Somehow not resolved. Is that really true? Okay, bother. 3 here, so this is 3, this is 2, and one of these had to be correct, which is now going to have to be that one. So that's a 6, that's a 7. That is a correct black dot, that's an incorrect incorrect black dot. I don't know. Should we? I'm going to pencil mark these bottom. Oh, no. I want to pencil mark the bottom of the grid. So these squares are from... Oh, no, I don't need to. Look, 7, 8 by Sudoku. This is a 4-5 pair. So this must be a 2-8 pair. And we can... Well, we can't, actually. No, we can't do that. Bother. All right, so what do we do now? Ah, we've got a white dot here. That could be correct. Bother. Where are the other white dots? I've not looked at those. That's a 7. So, oh, that would have to be an 8 to be correct. That might be able to be correct. This one, then. We don't know what that digit is, though. This would have to be a 2, 3, or a 4. Can't see why that doesn't work. Okay, so something is something else. It's not white dots. It's... I don't know. What is it? Oh, look. I've got a 2-3 pair. It's Sudoku. So that's a 4. That's a 3. That... Oh! That's 3 in the corner. That's 3 in the spotlight, losing its religion. Thank you very much for deigning to put one of those in for me. What about 2 here? So this is 5. This is 6. This is 2. This is not 5 now. This just can't be chocolate teapot time, can it? Hang on. I don't know. Maybe it is. I can't quite see how to resolve that. I'm just going to pencil mark it. 4 or 9 here. How weird. Okay. So this is 4, 5, and 6, is it? Oh, and that's not 6. So 6 in the row has to go, or 6 in the column has to go there. Oh, I see. And then I get a 4, 5 pair here. So this is 9. This is 5, this is 4, this is 9, so this is 4, this is 5. And that, right, okay. So that one has now become a fib teller, which is going to help us, I suspect, mightily with the rest of the grid. We are actually filling it in now, aren't we? It looks like we're nearly there. How do we do this with some sort of aplomb? I don't know. 2, 3, and 8 into these squares. But we know that this has to be correct. In fact, let's label up this one and this one. They have to be blue because this is definitely wrong. So that has to be an 8 now, which means that's 8, that's 2. And this has to be true, so that has to be 6, and that has to be 5. Now that's a 4 in the corner, 4, 5, 6 over here. That's a 4 here. And that's a 3 again. We're going to get another 3 in the corner. Oh, that's ridiculous. I think that's a 3. That's 3 in the corner. That's 3 in the spotlight. Losing its religion. This is 8. This is 2. That's 3. That's something. Don't know what 2. It does look like it's working from a Sudoku. What a comedy shading of that grid. And right, does it know whether it's correct or not? Let's try and click tick. I'm reasonably proud of that. That was very hard. It was very hard and unutterably brilliant. I mean, it's just a sequence of incredibly intricate deductions. That's what it felt like to me. But always, when you found the correct way to think about it, really, really beautiful. Really beautiful. The start was beautiful. Yeah, I mean, there were the place I got most stuck was not appreciating that there was a restriction on the whispers in in row 9. I think if I'd seen that quicker, I could have shaved a few minutes off the time. But I mean, fundamentally, this is just an unutterably brilliant puzzle. Tallcat. It's been too long, my friend. That is a stunning return, and I love that. It's very, very clever. It made me feel a bit silly at times, but I loved every moment of it. Let me know in the comments if you had a go. Let me know how you got on. I enjoy the comments, especially when they're kind. And we'll be back later with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic.